It's Monday again. Mike and I are going to be down here at the shed working on the tables again. Mike is currently down at the 7-Eleven picking up a drink. I got here just a couple of minutes before him, but we'll be starting off and working for about 3 hours today. And we'll probably continue on putting the 8-ball Deluxe table together. Remember that piece of plastic that was broken last week, and the plastic from the new kit was oddly shaped? Well, I manufactured a new one out of a piece of scrap plexiglass I had at home. We'll be drilling that and installing it, or at least putting the standoffs on that today probably. But Mike also mentioned that he got a height adjustable table that we need to put together, so we'll probably be unloading that from his car and starting off with that for the first thing this evening. So we'll be getting going here in just a moment. Okay, Mike is here. I just wanted to show you this piece of plastic that I milled out myself. So there it is with the little loop around so that the ball can escape from the pocket if it happens to be in there. We're going to line it up with the other piece of plastic to get the holes marked and drill that out. Mike is going to continue finishing up the rest of these pieces of plastic, putting the standoffs on them. And while he is doing that, I'm going to turn this table over and start drilling the remainder of the holes and mounting down the backside. And then I will probably start positioning these pieces of plastic that he has already put together, marking where the holes go, and start drilling and mounting the plastics on the table. So that's our plan for today. Okay, unfortunately I forgot to hit the start button on the record again like I do so often, but what I did on the long board here, I put in 3 extra screws. On the little short one on the top, I put 1 in the middle. On the long one on the side, I put in 3 extra screws. And then on the rail here, I put 1 screw right there. So that literally only took about 10 minutes. It was really, really quick. So I'll get Mike to help me turn this over, and I'll start looking at plastic installation. Okay, so I'm about to put the plastics in. This piece of plastic goes right under here, and 4 of the holes come through the top. The last one doesn't, so I guess a shorter screw holds it in place. But I need to mark where to drill the holes. I would love to be able to use this, but it won't go down to the board. So I'm going to use a drill bit. And what we decided we would do is we would put the end pieces, we'll mark those, drill them, we'll install the plastics, and then we will drill the middle ones through. So right now I'm marking this one's already marked and drilled, so I'm just going to mark these outside 3 that are left, and then I'm going to drill them, put the things together, mount them, and then we'll drill the rest through. Also thought about
going to the high school.
Yeah.
If we can get like an apprenticeship thing.
But to get high school kids to...
Yeah. Well, for a senior project, they need to restore $10. If they have a senior project.
Yeah. Okay. Where is the inside plastic for this one? Is that must be that one right there.
Yep.
Okay, we got something wrong here.
What's wrong? Nothing lines up?
The target up here at the top of this channel rubs against this piece of plastic. So
Huh?
see that red?
Oh.
It rubs against this piece of plastic when this piece of plastic is aligned with the holes. Pretty severely, actually.
All right. Well, then we'll have
So-
to cut a little clearance in that plastic.
That would probably be the easiest thing to do. Yeah. I bet this is hard. There's freaking dozen holes here.
That guy that had that museum out west, that's what he does. He has volunteers
Mm-hmm.
come to help him restore pinballs.
This is definitely not easy, especially with that pushing up against that thing there.
You're just going to mark it.
I already marked it and drilled it. Okay, I've been working at trying to adjust this piece of plastic right here so that it doesn't touch this red target, but you can see as I push it how it pushed that plastic out of the way. The holes for that plastic are set, so by the top piece of plastic we can't change it, but it appears if you look right down on the top of this target, like this target is probably not mounted in the center correctly and can probably be shifted over to the left a little bit. So we're going to turn the table over and see if we can adjust that. Can we see it? Move it down here. Let me stop. So this is the offending switch right here. I'm going to try and just loosen it up and see if there's enough slop in the holes to readjust it and then tighten it back down first. And if that doesn't work, then we'll have to drill new holes. And of course there isn't a single bit of slop in there. So let's take one of these screws out. And save it down there where it's out of the way. We'll put that right about there. Just barely changed. I need a little piece of wood skewer to pop in that hole.
Toothpick?
Toothpick. Something.
We don't have toothpick.
No, I know.
Zip tie.
I don't think that'll hold, but
Here we go. Try this. Where's the knife? Razor.
so I don't know if you can see it on the picture. You probably can't. But that hole only moved over half the distance, so we're going to try and take just a little piece of wood filing and here, let me and drive it down into that hole just to kind of fill it so we can drill beside it. A bamboo skewer works really great for this, but unfortunately we're all out of bamboo skewers. I think that was the screw I need for this. I'm going to stop the video while we hunt for screws. Okay, before we screw this back in, we're going to turn it back over again and see if we got the clearance we needed. Those guys can see me.
Yep, you can see. It's behind this, so you really can't see. But
wow, that really, I mean, it didn't seem like it moved it a lot, but here, give me the other piece. We want to make sure we didn't over move it. That looks perfect. So that'll do. So we'll tighten it up and it'll be nice and clear.
do it that way. So we need to take that screw loose and rotate it.
Well, we need to take them all loose and probably take that screw out.
Well, this one can't move because that has to stay there.
Yeah, but we'll loosen it up to.
Well, yeah, just to get it to move.
Don't want to go through the table. Stop that.
Give me that red handle.
So what Mike's working on here, let me pull the camera view out a little bit farther so that you can see, is Right over there is the saucer kicker, and it's a little bit off center. When the ball is sitting in the saucer, it isn't actually sitting on the switch. Got it working the first time. That looks a lot better, but it's... So that white piece is part of the switch.
Yeah.
We might have to slide the switch in a little bit. Yep. But let's see.
Here's the ball.
You're on the switch now. That'll work.
Yep. Okay. If it's herky-jerky, we know we'll have to adjust.
Let's go ahead and do a close-up for the audience here. So we moved the metal so that these prongs were closer to the wood, and you can see that that white thing is still a little off. That is actually part of the leaf spring and not that metal mechanism we were moving around. And we probably should loosen it up and move it forward about 1/8 of an inch or something to center it. It actually looks like it's rubbing against the metal. It's not. It's open. But when we drop the ball in here, you can see that there's clearance around the wood. It is definitely sitting on the switch and the prongs. So this is making that switch, and it'll eject the ball. But if we have any problem with it, we know what to adjust. Okay, we are working on this particular piece of plastic. So we are temporarily latching these two down. There's another post that we have to mount under here, and that post carries this gate, which comes across and mounts to another post over here. So we're going to start by centering the adjustability of this down in this area, and then we're going to drill the hole for this post, and that's going to set 3 points, and then everything else will be drilled based on that that position. Okay, so we've finished putting this down. Now, of course, we've got to take all this off and peel the protective plastic off to make these lanes clear. But we got the holes all drilled, screws in all of them. We're missing a few screws over here that we'll get in there, and little caps and stuff, but we'll get that put on. There's a piece that comes here. We still have to put the wire rail in here, but we're moving down to the other end of the table now to put the plastics in down there. So let me move you guys over here. Okay, we've been having a discussion, looking at some pictures that we took before we started. So this thing right here is a piece of metal, and this is a piece of plastic, and there's a light underneath here. So it seems to me that the plastic ought to be at the bottom. However, the metal was at the bottom before, and they might have done that because of flippers hitting into it and needing the strength or something. Not really sure. But this is just a clear piece of plastic on the top. So we put it back the way it was, but I'm going to see if I can look up some more pictures, and maybe whoever put this table together last put it together wrong. So, and we're just finishing up setting some of these other plastics in here just to get a look for the finished table. Yeah, the rail's not under there. Is that what you're looking at, or?
Well, I'm just checking to see
Clearances?
if the ball will go through. We got several rubbers that we need to put in here and
Right.
here. Yeah, that looks good. All right.
Let's go ahead and take this off and see if we can get that. We might have to take this piece of wood back off because that wire rail does not sit deep enough into that slot. And I got a feeling that part of the problem with the old pinball machine is it never sat into that slot. The slot's cut in the wrong place. And because of that, the ball got dinged up by the piece of metal sticking out.
Well, you know, we could probably just take like a staple or something and just kind of push it through and just pull it in, or glue. Or
So I think the problem is you're going to have to remove some wood to do that. It won't go in because there literally isn't enough space in there. Oh, we're going to have to take this one off too. Damn it. That's why we didn't put all the screws in there.
Well, that's okay. Everything's drilled now. That was the primary
Right.
goal.
That's true. Everything's drilled. Everything, I think.
And when you get playfields that are done from playfield restorations, you don't have to do this.
Right. Well, you do every once in a while because
Well, yeah, you might
every
have to
once in
make
a while
an adjustment.
They got one that isn't quite right. And that could be, you know, the plastic guy didn't punch the hole in the plastic quite the right place or something.
Just machine tolerance.
Yeah, yeah.
Build up. Tolerance build up.
Life in the industry. Okay, so the last time I mucked with this, wow, did we tighten up the nuts on the bottom of that?
I think you did.
I can't loosen them up. I think I pulled it out without loosening
Oh, yeah,
it
that's
up.
right, you
But
did.
now we need to loosen it up, so we need to need to tilt this up and get something to loosen the nuts up. A pair of pliers or
Your
something.
wrenches are right here. I'm sure you can find one to fit it. Tilt it this way.
Yeah, tilt it that way.
Yeah, I wonder, can we just push it in?
We can try, just push it in.
It's not quite lined up right at the top.
Yeah, let's go ahead and, that's because I tried to unscrew it.
Oh, it's lined up now. So
Okay.
you can push it in.
Easy peasy. Okay, so for right now, let's just set it back down. Yeah. I don't want to tighten up the nuts yet because I got a feeling we're coming on and off here sometimes. Maybe not. Where's the ball?
It's in that.
It definitely hits. And if you look, you see where the notch is, that notch should be sitting here.
Okay.
They milled it too far down. And it's been like that from day one. And if you pull this out and look, you can see that the wood is shallow here.
Mm-hmm.
So it will not let this go any deeper. So we're going to have to, I mean, so there's two things we could do. We
We can
could
see the ball.
I mean, put it back.
Because I mean, it gets guided with this groove.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's still hitting it. We got to do something.
Yeah, because this will eat up your ball eventually,
It
and
will.
then it'll eat up your table.
That's right.
Yeah, we don't. There's a dink right there.
There's several of them. I noticed it.
Is that us?
I think it's screws that haven't quite come all the way
From
through.
this.
Yeah.
Now the other thing we could do is you know, take a grinding wheel and just grind that. That would be actually the easiest thing to do, is just to.
But you have to buff it smooth.
Yeah, but I mean, you only have to take basically about the bevel's worth of. I don't know. Anyway, what I was saying, you only have,
If we get this deeper, we can push the whole thing that way. Or
Right.
No.
yeah.
Well, these aren't going to move. So,
Well, they don't.
is
need
it
to.
holding it?
I think the only way we could tell is to pull this rail off and see how far we can, and we can guide on the black line there, and see how much farther we can get it to go. But I mean,
Can we
this
just- yeah.
this will rotate this way farther. I mean, we got a lot of leeway, but the fact that the wood is hitting right there won't let that
All right.
ever.
So I say we pull this rail off and get some clearance.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
It's your table too, so your opinion really counts a lot. Let me bring these people down here so they can see this, just in case anybody's actually watching this and
Okay.
interested. So what we're working at here, and I don't know if I showed this the other day or not, but this rail sits in here and it cuts into a little groove in this sideboard. Let me spin around the other way. So if you look at where that groove is cut, it looks like they actually milled that in the wrong place, and it should be up here so that this piece of metal can sit deeper into the table. The problem is when the ball comes rolling up here, it hits that piece of metal. Over time, that'll put little nicks in the ball, and those little nicks will put little nicks in the table, and it'll lead up the table. So we really need to fix that, and the only way we can do that is to take this rail back off and try and miter out some of that wood and then put it back on. And that's probably going to be a take it home and do it on the router table kind of thing. But then we'll come back and try and get it adjusted. Okay, we pulled the brace out, or the piece of wood out. You can actually see down in the wood there, that little shiny spot where the metal is hitting, and you can see how it tapers off. So there's no way to push the whole end of that metal in there. So I'm going to take this home and take a chisel or a saw or a router or something and extend this up a little ways. And then we will try it again next week. But we've come to the end of our working time today. So we're going to say goodbye, and thanks for watching.